Hello and welcome to Hidden Assets. I am Chris, and with me today is Jared.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going, Jared?
It's going pretty good. Um, just had a relaxing day off.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And looks like you're going to be playing a little relaxing game of Netrunner here on the left.
Well, I built an HB deck specifically to be kind of relaxing because I was sick of playing as stressful, more difficult corps.
Awesome. I think HB is a pretty relaxing corp, but it's not the most relaxing corp.
Yeah, I mean, the NVN decks that just kind of go by themselves.
They tend to, yeah.
I just feel like HB is cool because it's you're making money, you have ice, everything just it feels like everything's just working the way that it's supposed to. You don't have to make super hard choices all the time. You just you get a card, you put it down, you make money.
Excellent. That's what I like.
Straightforward.
That's right. And you are on the left here, and
Yeah.
on the right we have Nick, I believe, who's playing Kate, and we've already had a couple turns here. So let's see. Guide me through first couple turns for you.
I think usually I'm trying to get what I like to do is get out of Jackson if I can, and then just try and throw out a beta test as fast as I can.
Right.
Just to get free ice, nice and rezzed, and then if you can get that early, it just feels so good.
So do you feel that beta test is too risky? Because I've talked to a lot of people and they felt that that beta test is one of those cards that feels like it's a good card, but tends to be a trap for most of the time. You tend to use it and then it just bins a bunch of agendas and you tend to lose the game because of it.
I mean, that's definitely a thing, and so I try usually won't use it if I don't have any sort of safety.
Sure.
So if I have a Vitruvius token, I'm more likely to use it. If I have Jackson Howard out, I'm more likely to use it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to if I have Vitruvius in my hand first, then I'll try to over advance it to get the token.
Right.
And then that just sets me up all the better. Architect is also good now as kind of another potential for saving your agendas if you lose them.
Right. It looks like Nick face planted into an Eli, but then clicked through it and then hit a rainbow. So rainbow is something I don't see very often. Why have you chosen rainbow over something like Wall of Static or Bastion?
I put rainbow in as just I just like the fact that it costs a little bit extra than Wall of Static, for instance, to break. And usually I'll put it over something like Adonis campaign, just so that if they're gonna steal it, it'll be a little bit extra expensive.
Interesting.
But yeah.
So in this specific instance, though, it seemed like Nick just chose his cheapest breaker and kind of got through it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just take a chance and it doesn't work.
It's true. That's Shaper's really good at kind of making you res ice, and then turns out doesn't matter at the end anyway. So
yeah, they just have the thing that they need.
Yep. But you are undeterred. You have reinstalled behind that remote, confident that Nick can't get in.
Going for it again.
Yeah, going for it again. And I think that's a great play here. It looks like Nick is out of cash, so he is pro-conning up, and doesn't look like he's going to be able to get through that. So
yeah,
that's a free agenda for you. It's good. one thing I see on Nick's side is we see a new card, Astrolabe, from Up and Over.
Yeah, he was using it in a pretty cool way, and it was something that I was thinking about too. Um, I don't know if I should save it as a surprise because he pulls it off later.
So let's save it, but give
Yeah.
us a hint.
Um, well, it doesn't stay there forever.
Okay. Something happens to it. It's like he almost trades it for something, maybe.
It's that he takes it to the moon.
Right. Nice. And he's getting his rig assembled here. Knight, Corroder, SMC, and Cyber Feeder is an interesting choice for Kate deck.
Yeah.
Don't see that very often. So I wonder
Yeah.
how he's using that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I remember anything like special. Like I don't remember any viruses.
Do you think he's just
So
using it specifically to kind of
I just think
value
it's
out? Yeah, yeah.
it's the recurring credit.
hmm So it looks like you did score an NAPD, and so we're tied here at 2 points apiece. And yeah, man, it just seems like a pretty solid game right now. What is that? There's a replicator on the board.
Yay.
I thought everything was going normal, and all of a sudden Nick hits a replicator. And my
That's not mine.
preconception is totally blown up. So I
I
don't know
think
what's going on.
yeah, I'm trying to remember if this is a stealth deck because I feel like stealth decks really like replicator.
It could be maybe just like a trade-in deck. Maybe that's what he's going for. Um,
Just in general.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe he uses it to find RDIs and other useful hardware. That's actually pretty cool. He does
Yeah.
he does end up tossing an SMC and a replicator, so he's not expecting to have to use them. Um, and if he is using a stealth suite, probably just one stealth card at the most, right? Or one
Right.
stealth breaker, yeah. So, all right. So we get a little bit of a glimpse of his deck here. He does pop the SMC and goes to get a magnum opus. This is quite the brew from Nick, I have to say. Um, he's a pretty creative deck builder, and this is an interesting deck already.
Yeah, I remember like it was hard for me to kind of like see where he was trying to go with it, which makes it tricky because like I'm not sure how to build for it.
Yeah. So how do you respond to that? So it looks like you've put another either asset agenda or upgrade behind that remote. I mean, you must know he can get in, right? So
Yeah,
right. So
that's
there's your
definitely not an
Adonis.
agenda.
Right. Right. Good call. That's a good play. And I think that's something that HB likes to do a lot is just when you know that they could either get in or that they uh, either have the potential to get in or are very close to having the potential to get in to kind of like tease them a little bit and just use an asset to get that economy rolling again.
Yeah, I think teasing is like the perfect word for it because like I mean it's sitting there and they can come and trash it and you don't get money, but they're spending so much money and really I feel like it's kind of a win-win situation in most cases.
Right.
Uh,
So Nick hasn't been running on your centrals all that much. In fact, he hasn't at all. So I'm a little um, surprised at that. He tends to like running R&D. He tends to like to legwork HQ. He loves legwork. That's one of his favorite cards.
yeah, well, he's got a HQ interface down, so it's probably coming.
Yep. Here's a Jackson. Gonna let him trash it. That would bankrupt him, but or almost bankrupt him.
Yeah.
But he leaves it there. Now, when you're running and you see a Jackson and you're
Uh-huh.
at about 3 or 4 credits, do you habitually trash it, or do you kind of judge the situation and make a decision that way, or what's your thought process on that?
It's kind of case by case, but I feel like if I had a magnum opus out, I'd just trash it. Like you're already there, um, and it's better to trash it on your terms, and like you can bounce back super fast from that.
That's a good point. Yeah, Magnum kind of changes the game a bit. Um, just the it's unlimited credits
Yeah,
essentially, right?
like it's ridiculous. It's so hard to play once it gets out. Just like always thinking about the fact that they're just like they're gonna make so much money whenever they want to. Like it becomes really hard to make servers that are gonna keep them out effectively.
Right, right. And we saw in a previous video that Nick is quite fond of like gaining 1 billion credits and then vamping the corp all the way to 0. So, were you thinking about that at this point, like, or were you going like maybe he's just uh, trying to snipe off remotes, or what was going through your mind?
I don't think I was thinking vamp. I think I was. I mean, I saw the HQ interface and the replicator. I think it, and I'm probably thinking like it's going to be just like a ton of interfaces. Like put down all
Right,
the HQ interfaces, put down all the R&D interfaces, and just make it like hit the centrals super hard.
right. Which is a pretty strong play. I mean, if you're playing a late game shaper, that's kind of where you want to be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so looks like Nick has taken some money and he was thinking about putting that knight somewhere, but decides not to. And then, oh, okay, there you go. Game is
Yay!
happening. Yep,
Yay!
we have a biotic labor out, a accelerated beta test, and you are going to run it.
Fire it.
That's what I would do too. And nothing. What?
Yeah, and then that happens. I lost the tournament because I went against my own rule and used a beta test without a Jackson out and just
No.
like so many points in archives.
Oh man, I know it's happened to me so much.
It's tempting, you know?
It is. I mean, the upside is so high,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, right? Um, but it looks like, and that's just off the screen now. I apologize. We'll fix that here in just a second. But there is an architect on archives,
Yeah,
and
that's
Nick just ran through it. So, how do you feel about architect?
it's my new favorite ice. Personally, I think it's super good.
Yeah,
Uh, it's awesome for like you put it on R&D and then they run on it and then you can like snatch away an agenda before they can access. You put it on archives and you can like save any agendas that you had in there. Um, and it's also great because you can just like put out trashed Adonis campaigns. You can put out trash SanSans. Um,
Now, I've been thinking about some weird, janky combos with it because that's sort of the thing I do. But it plus corporate troubleshooter seems pretty good, right?
just to guarantee the fire.
Guaranteed to fire, and then you can reinstall your corporate troubleshooter from archives.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so this is my idea. Like you get like two of them on the centrals, and they have to run them because basically you're just going to biotic things out or whatever.
Right.
So then you play corporate troubleshooter, and you always keep it just out of range, right? So you don't have to like pop it super high, but you just get it right out of range using just special math skills, and then it comes right back into play. But then you don't put it on the same server; you put it on the other server with the other architect. So it just keeps bouncing around. Is my idea. It seems pretty fun. I don't know if it actually would work or if it's any good, but
Yeah, but oh, so much fun.
yeah. I actually
I
I've
want to see it.
seen. I saw a couple other posts on about this on Board Game Geek. So, but I mean, it's something that we've been thinking about for a while. But it's not original, I guess. But and at the same time, it just seems so obvious. Like, bounce corporate troubleshooters around, man. The card is awesome. It's a really good card. Anyway, so what's going on here? So Nick, Nick gets Fem out, and Fem's that remote, and seems like he's running there. It's an itchy. Uh-oh. Is he at... I think he's at memory limit here. There's something going on. Does he have another...
Let's see. 1, 2, 3...
He's at 6, so something is amiss here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it looks like he caught it. Okay. Yep. So just trashing the night. I assume either that or he let the trash program fire, which... Bad, Nick. Bad. You shouldn't do that. But I'm pretty sure that he...
Well, no, he couldn't, because if he's going to Fem it, he'd have to do all of them.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's correct. That's right. And it did look like he paid through it, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that's why I rezzed it, because like he can't selectively move through the subroutines. Like at least he had to pay for all of them.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Just like nonsense with Replicator.
Yeah. All right, there we go. A little bit better angle. The personal touch on Fem is actually really good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I've heard people say that Fem is only as good as the token it uses, but it's not a bad Sentry Breaker. It's just a little bit expensive, and at 3 strength though, it's quite a lot better than it is at 2 strength.
Yeah, I remember, like back in the day, Fem on Dinosaurus was like kind of the style.
Yeah.
Everyone realized that Fem could just be the good Sentry Breaker as long as you gave it some permanent strength boosts. Plus, you get to bypass 1 ice.
Nice. Yeah. Whatever happened to those days? I mean, Dinosaurus is sort of... I mean, I'm sort of joking, but at the same time, like, Dinosaurus was a cool console, and...
Yeah. I always go back and look at it, but...
I always go, this seems awesome, and then I look at the cost, and it's like 5.
Yeah, and you have to get it first.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little more complicated.
Okay, so Nick is doing something.
Hey.
I'm gonna have to have a word with him, because I think he just should have destroyed some of his programs.
Did he mess with his memory limit?
Yeah, he messed with his memory limit. Oh, yeah. Boy.
That's interesting, because I was just looking at playing this trick, and that was one of the things that I was thinking about. Was like, well, if you're relying on the memory of your Astrolabe while it's out,
then you can't
trade it in unless you're willing to give up one of those programs.
Yep. So he should have trashed something. Hopefully he catches it. I'll be nonplussed if he does not.
Some finger wagging.
Yep. That's okay. It's okay. We'll continue on. Errors were made.
It happens.
It does. But it does look like, though, on your side, you've got quite the glacier set up right now, and those centrals have really not been checked at all.
Yeah.
So you must be feeling pretty good, though.
I feel all right. He's broke. I got 2 deep ice. I would like to have maybe a better more secure remote server at this
Right.
point. But
Right. So what kind
you
of
know, it's
ice
not
are you
terrible.
looking for exactly?
I like none. There's only a couple of like really strong ice, but just like if you can even just make it three deep with like whatever ice, like that's I feel like that's fine enough.
Maybe like an extra Eli would be pretty strong here.
Yeah, like a second Eli on that one remote would be like pretty good, and then you just wait for like a scoring window.
Right.
Um, or you could put down a SanSan. That's good too.
So I suppose you couldn't get another agenda off right now unless it was an NAPD, right? Because he could click for 6 and then run,
Yeah,
and
and
it
he'd
costs,
get in.
let's see, it costs him 4, 5, 6 to get through. So if it was an NAPD, you could potentially score that, but if it was anything else, you wouldn't be able to, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, and he's got three reoccurring credits too,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
which is useful.
Hmm. So I suppose he would be able to get it then. That would be just enough. Huh. I still don't know how I feel about Cyberfeeder. Like Cyberfeeder is awesome, but does Kate need it? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
And Toolbox.
it's
Toolbox is
cool.
also
So,
awesome. Yeah.
I gotta feel like there's something else you could put there instead.
Yeah. I mean, a cloak is the same thing, really. Uh, if
Yeah,
you
but
can spare the
memory.
memory. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to have a word with him. There needs to be some Akamatsus in this deck or something because that's not. I've always felt like the memory limit is kind of that sacred thing in this game. Like if you screw it up, you're like, oh no, I've broken the game somehow.
Hmm.
You know, I'm not trying to rag on him or anything like that. He probably is like, I can't believe this has happened. You
Oh
know.
yeah, I mean, and that's like memory. I feel like is like one of the easiest things to accidentally overlook.
Yep.
Um, and there's like so many ways to miss it too. Like if you have a parasite somewhere or like a knight somewhere, like you just don't even think about those as costing memory because they're not sitting right in front of you.
Yeah. Also, trade in is a new card, and it says you put the card into your hand, not into play. So
Right.
that's one thing that I originally thought it said put it into play. You trade it in immediately for the card. So, but no, it doesn't say that. It goes into your hand, and then you have to click to play it. So, um, that might have been one of the mistakes here, is like not knowing that that's how the card worked. But uh, nevertheless, now everyone who's watching this knows that. So.
Yeah, we can all learn from his mistake.
So double caduceus on HQ is pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's like I think my favorite HQ ice setup is just like every time I get a Caduceus, I just put it over HQ.
Nice. Oh, it's so taxing. Um, let's see. Nick is making another run on HQ, and you res a Victor 2. And looks like he gets through that,
Yeah,
and
and he
gets
has
through the
like
other two.
three links, so like
Oh, that's right. He can just run through it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That
And
is.
seeing like three cards at a time. I think at
Oof.
this point, I was kind of feeling uneasy about where I am.
Right, right. And you doesn't look like you've seen very many agendas, or if you have, they're probably in archives right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
lots of money though. Now, I'm gonna make you play the runner side here. If you were Nick, what would you do? Where would you go?
um, I think just like going back to HQ is probably a pretty legit move. Um, because it's 3 out of 5 cards each access.
Right.
Assuming I have a full hand, like I can't hide them there, so it's just gonna like I have to either throw them away, um, or like there's nowhere safe for them to go. So that's just like that's going to put the pressure on, and like that Jackson's not going to last forever. Um, and then, oh man, what did I play?
Well, maybe that's kind of what's going through your head right now. Like maybe you're like, I can't hold
Well,
any of these
yeah,
agendas, so I got to put something down, right?
I think it's a SanSan. That seems like
Uh,
a pretty me move.
so then what? How's
I guess
your
I'm surprised that he
influence?
hasn't even like looked at R&D.
That's true. I'm surprised too because shapers love R&D. This is kind of
Yeah,
like an HQ only shaper, which is kind of crazy.
maybe he's waiting for like R&D interface, but I mean, it's like why not go at least look?
Yeah, make you
Like
pay
at
some
least
money.
spend money.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's got to contest the remote, right? So he's going to spend a click doing that. He's probably going to check your hand.
Hmm.
Um, but unfortunately, I guess. Oh, I guess we he just clicked up for money. Is that what happened? And then passed.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're going to biotic out another Vitruvius or a Vitruvius. Now you're on game point, sir. That's pretty solid. Biotic labor. Who knew? It's a good card.
Yeah, it's hard. I remember like I didn't get why that card was like good when I first started playing. And then one day I was sitting there and I was looking at my hand and I saw Biotic Labor, and then I saw Advanced Beta Test, and like something just clicked in my brain and I was like, oh, I guess four click is worth 4 credits.
Yeah, yeah. That does make sense though. It is kind of cool to think of it that way. A click
Yeah.
is worth 4 credits. Um, but it's kind of more than that, right? It's like an agenda immediately is worth 7 credits, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Oh man. Okay, so it's still this is all still up in the air. Like Nick has hit an accelerated beta test. He's on 4 points. If he hits a 3 pointer, that's game. I assume there's probably at least 1 or 2 3 pointers in there.
There
Um,
is zero.
oh, there's zero. Really
Yeah. Uh-huh.
interesting.
Um,
Are you
yeah.
are you playing any of the O2 agendas?
No. That would just take up too much room.
Right.
Like I like those cards, but it would take up too much room. I have it's like the three Vitruvius, the three beta tests, three NAPD contracts, and then one of those the stupid efficiency committee, just because I had to put something in.
Right, right. So all 2 point agendas. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Is there a reason you chose those over like a Pryrack? Are you not playing any Heimdalls or
There's like I think only one Heimdall 1.0 and one Heimdall 2.0. I
okay.
was trying to keep my ice just like as affordable as possible.
Right, right. I think that's a really good idea. Most HB decks, kind of like the red coats variants, are all super into the huge ice, right? So
Yeah.
um, hitting a Pryrack is kind of their goal, right? Get that scored early, then just sort of snowball out of control, right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I just don't like I hate those situations where like I have a ton of money and then it just like all gets spent on one piece of ice and then like I don't know, I guess that's just not how I like to roll.
Right. Oh,
My style.
totally. Uh, let's see. So, just some money from you, and then back to Nick. Nick's drawn up, gaining some money. Clicks twice for credits, and it looks like he's running on R&D.
Victor. Victor.
Victor's pretty good.
Yeah.
Victor is a very, very solid piece of ice. So, um, At 5 strength and 2 subroutines, it's going to tax him even with 3 recurring credits. So I think he's doing the math here, figuring out that he could probably get through. Or can he? Let's see.
Oh, I think I remember this.
It's going to cost him 5 with Gordian Blade. It's going to cost him 4 with Eli. I don't think he can get through, so I think he just bounces and does trace? Or what does he do here? Looks like he bounces and that you don't bump the trace. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he let the trace fire, and I didn't bump it because
he has 3 link.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so that makes sense. And I guess we can't really see your credits all that well. Sorry about that, guys, but it's. I think you've got about 5 credits, maybe 4 credits right now. It's just the nature of dice.
Yeah.
Or is that a 6? It might be a 6. You have some amount of credits, and that's all we need to know right now.
6 or less.
6 or less, not enough to Biotic, but more than enough to...
No, it is enough to Biotic because you get a credit for installing.
Oh, that's true.
Which is awesome.
That is awesome. You're going to gain a credit here. Tell me you're going to Biotic something out for the win. Maybe not. Nope, just install. And discard. All right, fair enough. Sometimes that's all you can do, man. Nick is going to sure gamble and then play a personal touch on his Gordian Blade.
Bastard.
Yeah, he's not going to let the replicator fire. I assume he's probably got the other one in his hand if he's playing 3. And Dirty Laundry R&D, looks like. So that's going to cost him 8. 5 plus 3 recurring credits to get through all that. All right. He's doing the math. We're doing the math. Okay, that seems good. First top card's an Ash. Second is a Vitruvius. Oh, man. Tied game. Yeah.
It's stressful.
Yeah. So, at this point, has his deck gone out of control? Like, is it unable to be stopped? Or...
I know I was kind of feeling that way. Like, I have to make a move fast because he can see more cards in my R&D than I can get to. He can see more than half my hand. It's not looking too good.
Yeah. Well, you know that knowing now there's an Ash on top. He didn't check the remote, so if you were bluffing, you weren't those, and it's an Eve campaign. If you were bluffing, that would have been a sick bluff. It would have just been the game, yeah.
I don't think I had any agendas in my hand, which is also bad because he's looking at. He's only looking at 2, I guess, but
yeah. I mean, he could have a Maker's Eye in hand, which would be bad for you.
Terrible.
So you've got to want to reinforce R&D right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got the money. So Nick's going to fiddle on his phone. And we're going to take a second to just look at all the cards on the table. That's how awesome this game is.
I'm trying to think of what would it even take to stop him at this point?
A Heimdall would be pretty good.
A Heimdall would be good. It'd slow him down a little bit.
It would cost a lot. So it would cost if it was a Heimdall 2.0, it would cost 12 credits, 1 for the install, 1 for res. That's pretty expensive. he's got pretty much enough to get through uh, most whatever. Oh, you know what would be really good is another Itchy, actually, because it's so expensive for Fem to get through
Yeah.
sentries. And Itchy's just out of just 4 strength, but Fem is currently at 3 strength.
So they'd be 5.
So it'd be 5. That's a lot, even for a magnum opus Kate. So installing over Jackson, getting a credit from that, and then looks like taking a couple credits. A solid play. Definitely, you knew that the next couple cards aren't going to be agendas, but Nick is not having any of it. He just like throws the RDI down. He's like, all right, run R&D.
Oh, kind of poor though.
He is poor. Okay, he decides, no, wait, take credits, then run R&D. Okay. Good play, good play, good play. All right, he's doing the math again. And it should cost him 4 for the Gordian Blade and 4 for Eli. So it should cost exactly 8, or the 3 recurring credits and 5. That's how much it should cost.
Yeah.
He needs to pay that money.
I think
Or maybe he's clicking through it.
Well, I think he's thinking NAPD contract.
Mm,
So he's got to save 4 credits.
that is a tricky one.
Yeah. Because, like, those are just about the only agendas left.
That's a really good point. All 3 Vitruviuses are scored, 2 beta tests are scored, and then 1 NAPD. So there's 1 more beta test, 2 more NAPDs, and then an efficiency committee somewhere.
Stupid efficiency committee.
Yeah.
God, I wish there was something else that I could use instead of that card.
Yeah. Yeah. You can
I guess
play
it's
2 of
there.
the Bifrost arrays pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Those
That'd
are
be
really
kinda
good. Actually, that would be a sweet improvement for this deck, actually, because you really like the beta tests,
Yeah.
but it's even like less of a risk to score a 1-3 once you've already got a beta test scored to just trigger another beta test, you know? That seems great, actually. It seems really good. Looks like Nick had broke the subroutines and then bounced because he wasn't. Is that what happened? He wasn't going to. Or did he access?
Missed it.
I missed it. I was talking. I'm sorry, guys.
Is this?
He didn't win. We know that there's no agendas on top. If he went in and looked, I have a feeling he didn't though. And he is really thinking hard using this dice whether he's going to go back in. Install, take a credit. Seems solid. Back over to Nick. Now, I mean, this is just coming down to the wire, right? He's just gonna have to run this agenda. This has got to be an agenda, right? Or maybe you're just totally trying to psych him out.
I don't think it is. I think it's like an Ash and a SanSan.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good bluff. I would not be expecting a SanSan after seeing double Caduceus.
uh-huh.
I'd be expecting, I would be expecting like another 2-3 and the Ash, but
And protected by an Ash.
yeah. It is expensive, especially with recurring credits. You can't go in there twice, so it does make it tough. Although he does have 3 link.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough one, man.
I just don't know that I feel like I would be able to defend it.
I think Nick figures that you know that he can get in there,
Uh-huh.
and so goes R&D. Oh man, I can't wait to see what happens. This is exciting. we've there's so much going on right now. So much going. Okay. Um, it looks like he's just figuring out the math here, but I'm guessing that he's still kind of just short to pick up that NAPD. You know.
Yeah, just frustrating.
It is. NAPD is
Frustrating card.
really good. Yeah. It's a really good card.
I like it. Um, it's a good feeling to just be able to put it out there. Advance it once.
One,
Uh,
two. Looks like SanSan something beta test. Oh man. He picks it up. That's the last
no.
needed
Oh
agenda.
yeah. I think I was thinking really hard about shuffling some cards into R&D.
With Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, to dilute it a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking like I need to be able to use him to draw past whatever he looks at,
Right.
to get one of the last agendas.
And if he had like just the one R&D interface, you would be able to do that, right? Because then you would
Right.
get nothing, and then you just draw into it.
Just draw, draw, draw.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
So I
man.
took a chance. It didn't work.
Yeah. That was a good game though. Very close. It's always tough as the corp when you're essentially behind the eight ball, right? Like the runner has everything assembled,
Yeah, they have all their stuff. Unlimited money.
unlimited money, some of the best breakers in the game, Gordian Blade and Corroder, and just running through your servers basically with
With all
reckless
the
abandon.
bases.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
So
rough.
excellent. Good games, guys. Thanks to Jared. Thanks to Nick for playing for us. Thanks for commenting, Jared.
Yeah, thank you for doing this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a great time. Thanks for everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time on Hidden Assets.
Bye, everybody.